Yo, welcome back to another episode of On Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and in today's episode, we are joined by a very special guest, current professional baseball pitcher, Andrew Gross. Andrew currently plays in the Tampa Bay Rays organization for the Charleston RiverDogs. He plays college baseball days at Yavapai Community College, probably butchered that, and the University of Texas Arlington before going pro. So has been a long time in the making. So it's gonna be a fun one. So welcome to the show, Andrew Gross.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And you did fine. Yavapai is exactly the right pronunciation for that. So
Let's go. I was nervous I was gonna get that wrong, but hey, we got it
you
right.
nailed it. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. So how have you been? Like, it's been a busy few months for you. So like, how's everything going with you?
Doing good. I mean, it's definitely been interesting. New setup with the season, new way that the season's rolling. With 6-game series and day off. I'm not used to that. It obviously changes stuff like, how many times you pitch per week. You pitch against the same teams more than once a week. The travel is shorter in this league than I'm used to, so that's nice. But just a lot of stuff have changed due to COVID protocols and the new rules. So
Yeah. So you're with the Charleston RiverDogs this season. So like, how's the season going for you and the team? And just like with all like the protocols that you said, like what are some of the protocols that you guys have to abide by?
I mean, during the beginning part of the season, I mean, it was very strict, especially in spring training with everybody from every level kind of condensed into one locker room. I mean, they split up the big league team and us, all the guys, going to big league camp and all the guys going to minor league camp. So they split us up. And when we went through rigorous testing protocol every day, stuff like that, we've been wearing masks all the time. And once we broke off to our affiliates, once we all hit 80% vaccination, we're all able to, not wear masks and kind of go about our business and loosen up guidelines a little bit. But it's been real well. I mean, our team's killing it. I think we've got 45 or 46 wins and only 15 or 16 losses. I'm losing track of how many wins, but we scored 30 plus runs the last 2 games and gave up probably only 5 hits. So I mean, we've got it all together. I'm sure the Rays are a good minor league system and a good major league system, but it's just an awesome organization to be a part of.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like, just who doesn't love winning games? And like, especially as a pitcher, like, you guys are gonna have the bats going, so like there's a little less stress on you to perform well and strike everyone out, and compared to having guys hit and like your guys being able to field them and make the outs.
Exactly. I mean, that just relies on, confidence of my defense behind me, which, being a sidearm sinker ball pitcher, I got to have good defense, guys, good hands, strong arms, making plays for me and guys putting it together on the bats and scoring some runs for me on the other hand. So.
Yeah, exactly. So like, what are some of the things that you've learned throughout this season, especially with like everything going on with the pandemic still like somewhat there, and like all the restrictions, and just learning the new game of in Charleston?
I mean, Charleston's a great city for fans. It's with the amount of teams being cut down this year in the minor leagues. I was lucky enough to get put in a new spot for the Rays. This is our first year here, and the fans are great. The stadium is great. Everybody really supports us, and I mean, it's not a whole lot different. Maybe just I've really come to understand that you can't take anything for granted. I mean, having almost 2 years off from the last time I stepped on a professional mound in front of fans and pitched a baseball, I've matured a lot from 22 to 24, and I hope that so far this season it showed. From being a college pitcher pitching against pro hitters to being a pro pitcher pitching against pro hitters. So
Yeah. So how's it been having fans again at the stadium, and just like the atmosphere that like comes around with fans being in the building, and just like that atmosphere and that energy, I guess you could say?
Oh, it's been amazing. I mean, if you've ever been, or if anybody has ever been to a Charleston RiverDogs game this year, I mean, the fans there are just unreal. Like if you're another team, you probably don't want to be playing there, and if you're us, it definitely helps us in terms of scoring runs and stuff. They don't let up. We scored, I think, 22 runs 2 nights ago, and the fans stayed the whole game, and we're just going nuts the whole time, on the other team's pitchers, even though they were throwing position players and, just having fun. And it's a great atmosphere to play baseball in, for sure.
Yeah, it's especially helpful when like the home team like scores that many and like you get all the fans riled up and like probably half of them are probably drunk out of their mind, just
Oh yeah,
having a good time and just enjoying baseball.
Thirsty Thursdays. That's the best day to pitch.
Oh yeah, I could imagine that. And so recently you went what 33 innings scoreless, right? Or
I think it was about 32. Yeah, 32. So
like how was pitching during that whole scoreless streak and just how special was that for you?
I mean, it's something that you don't really ever think about. I mean, the Rays are a big team where, if you preach that if you get outs, you're looking good and that's what they want to see out of you. They don't really care too much about spin rate or anything like that. If you get outs, you're gonna go places. So over the 30 innings, I got to 20 innings and realized at that point that the streak as the record of that time was 31, and it didn't really cross my mind that much until a week and a half later, and sitting at 30, or I'm sitting at 0.2 innings left before I break the record. And then the one outing, go to Columbia, get those 2 outs, break it by 1 out, and then give up a home run. That's just how baseball goes. So got to be able to bounce back quick from stuff like that too.
Yeah, exactly. So congrats on that record first off, and just like what's the mindset like of a pitcher, like when you're pitching, like obviously you probably don't think about that, but like even in like a regular game, like what's your mindset as a pitcher and just going out there every inning and just throwing the best stuff you can?
I mean, as a relief pitcher, it kind of varies from guy to guy depending on what they like. But to be honest, my whole mindset is just, I mean, I love to stay focused on the baseball game, but to stay almost locked out of me personally worrying about what I'm going to do on the mound until it's my time to step on the bullpen mound and start to throw pitches and focus on what I need to do. It kind of helps keep my nerves down, keeps my body in check and not too worried for 8 innings until I go in for a save. So, I try to stay pretty relaxed, have breathing routine out on the mound, stuff like that. So, just little things that help you stay relaxed and get jobs done.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, what's that breathing like, and just like being able to like catch your breath and just like take in like when you breathe in, breathe out, like focus on your breath. Like, how does that help you a ton, or like to stay calm, or is it just like something you do on the daily?
It's more kind of like I kind of like associate it with. I remember hearing one time where like snipers in the military, right as soon as they're about to take a shot, they breathe out, and at the bottom of their breath, they pull the trigger. It's kind of like the similar thing to that. Like right before I'm about to make a pitch, I let all the air out of my lungs, and it kind of gets me to a calm point, and then I make a pitch based off of that. So it's not like I'm all built up, my shoulders, and my diaphragm all tense and stuff like that. So just kind of let it all out, and then able to execute a little bit more specifically without all that tension.
Yeah, exactly. And just playing loose, nothing tight, just relax and stay calm. That's the name of the game.
It's a key to making pitches and staying healthy.
Exactly. So what's a typical game day in the life of Andrew Gross during the season?
So I mean, depending on if we're coming off an off day or coming off the 5th game of the series, it will depend on how late I wake up. Usually it's anywhere from 8 to, could be 12 in the afternoon based off how late the game goes. But usually wake up, drive my buddy Oslamus Basabe to the field. We will maybe grab some coffee or something like that. Play some Latin music, whatever we're feeling. Michael Jackson on the way to the field. We get there and got a couple minutes. I usually do my preventative arm care, usually a hot tub and then some active release techniques throughout my neck and my shoulder to just stay healthy and get ready for throwing. And then from there we go out, and I think it's probably about 3 hours before game time, and we do our stretching. If we have meetings, we do that. Then I stretch, throw. If maybe want to get some touch and feel pitches off the mound, we do that too. And then from there we go straight into BP, and pitchers will do conditioning during then, and then go back in. We have our spread that we eat, and we shower and get ready for the game. And then we head out there and, normal 9-inning game, being a relief pitcher, who knows when I'm going to pitch? Could be the third, could be the ninth, or like last time when I opened, so pitch the first inning. So it's a whole bunch of different scenarios.
Yeah, that's awesome though, and to get like the in-depth detail of like your routine. So like, what's it like being like playing, like you said earlier, playing like 6 games in a series, and just you're playing teams multiple times a week. Like how difficult does that get when like they're like reading your pitches like the first night, and then you come back the second night and you're like, are they still reading it, or do I just throw what I have been?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different challenge. I mean, I know every team's lineup front to back. I mean, I think for something crazy like the last 60 games, or something like last 70 games we play, 60 of those games are going to be against the same 3 teams that we're going to play. And I mean, I know I keep pretty good notes on all the hitters and what I throw them, for this level or for future levels. And the way I see it is, I mean, if they're all good hitters and we're all good pitchers, and I'm going to throw my best stuff against their best stuff. So if I find a weakness, I'll try to use that. If they adjust to that, I'll just try to get my best stuff to beat their best approach against me. So that's about all you can do, But
yeah, you just got to throw your best pitches at the best players and just hope that you strike them out instead of them hitting a homer off you or getting on base.
Oh yeah, you got to have more confidence that you're gonna get them out than they're gonna get it off you.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like, yeah, how do you gain that confidence? Like, especially when like some things might not be going your way, like your pitches might be off, your velo might be off. Like, how do you gain that confidence again?
I mean, it's different whether you're struggling from outing to outing or if you're struggling during an outing. Like, if a lot of guys are struggling during outings, I would probably recommend, if you're having trouble locating a fastball, throw off-speed pitches. Try to find a pitch that you can get over for a strike, or just find something that you can get outs with. Like, I've seen guys throw 80% curveballs and have success because they can't find a fastball that day. Or yeah, from outing to outing, I mean, that just goes with, if you're having mechanical problems, just maybe figuring things out, working with, the extended amount of coaches and coordinators that are around. And video always helps. TrackMan, like being able to see your plots, your movement, all that stuff. There's just lots of tools you can use to adjust. And personally, I think still mentality is the hardest one to adjust. It changes based off of everybody, and it's hard to tell what everybody else is thinking because I only know what goes through my head. So.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to move on a little bit here, and like the MLB, like as everyone knows, like the MLB, like and the minor league baseball, like they implemented like the sticky stuff situation with like the checks. Like what are your thoughts on getting checked for sticky stuff and for sticky substances, and just how many times have you been checked so far?
I mean, usually it's supposed to be every outing. It's supposed to be random based off of whatever the umpires just decide to do. But I mean, I love my hands being dry, and that's basically all it is. So, even when, guys might have been using it or not using it, I stayed away from all that still because the sticky stuff affects my grips. And in terms of pulling pitches, like I yank pitches, I don't have any feel for pitches when I use that stuff. So for me, it's just big. I like using, rosin to dry my hands off and get a little bit of feel for pitches. For me, it's not, about I need to increase my spin rate because I'm a sidearm guy, Yeah. I like to more worry about movement and how my fingers feel on the baseball and stuff like that. So,
yeah. So you don't have to worry about Andrew Gross using the sticky substances.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to get into a little bit of your like college days, a little bit here, and like your youth days. Like, can you like give us some information, like when you started playing baseball, like how old were you, and like what youth baseball was like for you growing up?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in Arizona, so that's a big youth baseball community. I probably started playing around 4, and I played t-ball and then machine pitch, and then went straight into kid pitch, like travel ball. So I never even played like little league. I didn't really play any of those like city affiliated teams, that are like whatever your recreational leagues. I went straight into travel ball. I played for the same team for probably 11 years. which you don't usually see a lot these days. The same club team, the same coach. And from there, I went to a junior high and played baseball. And the junior high was the first 2 years the school was ever open. So I pitched almost every game and played shortstop. And my high school was Chandler High, which is right across the street from my junior high. And freshman year, everybody makes the team, and sophomore year, everybody doesn't. And that was the case for me. I ended up getting cut my sophomore year. As didn't really give me any reasons why. Just your science teacher, baseball coach. I don't know if it was just lack of knowledge or what, but that's something I always kind of wanted to go back and revisit and see how he's doing these days. But after that, we got different coaches. Played JV, not even varsity, junior year. Went on to play varsity my senior year, and only pitched probably about 8 to 10 innings. And had a buddy of mine, Hayden Derkowitz, who was like my closest friend at Chandler High, and he got a scholarship to Yavapai Community College. My parents, they told me, they said, like, if you want to go there, you can, but like be better like the school, because if you walk on and don't make the team, you're going to stay at that school. And I was happy with that. I sent the coaches tons of emails. I went into Yavapai as an overhand pitcher, and basically for most of the fall, I was just not having it. I was getting lit up, getting hit, my arm hurt, all that stuff. I was throwing 80 miles an hour. Then one day, our pitching coach, Jerry Dawson, who's a legendary high school coach in Arizona, most wins all time, as an Arizona high school coach. And my buddy, Jojo Romero, who's a pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies, we were playing catch, and I was messing around, tossing the ball sidearm. And he suggested that I should try it off of mound. And, 2 days later, I was throwing in live at-bats, and the hitter said that wasn't looking too bad. And I think that same week was cuts. And they told me that I made the team and went on to throw 75 innings that year and win a national championship. So that's about as good as you can get, picking a school to walk onto and picking the one school to win a national championship. So
yeah, that must have been unreal. It's like, what made you decide to be a pitcher, or were you just like always passionate about pitching and just continued to develop that love for being a pitcher?
I just knew I had no chance at hitting. I was never any good at hitting. I was a great defensive player, and I still like to think I carry that with me. I like to pride myself on defense and be able to make plays, but when it comes to hitting, I had no chance ever in my career of being a hitter. So
just strikeouts after strikeouts.
Yeah, strikeouts and being scared, don't want to get hit, that kind of stuff. It never left me. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So like, did you play any other positions? I think you said shortstop when you were playing
in junior high. I did, but growing up, I played third and I caught. And I caught a little bit in high school and played third mostly through high school too, until my senior year. And I was a pitcher only. But
sweet. So then you go into high school, like you said, and like your sophomore year, you said you got cut. It's like, how did you handle that like getting cut, and just did that? Like, obviously it brings you down, but like, what helped you stay motivated to continue to practice and play and just work your way on a JV the next year?
It was not good. I mean, I'm sure you've been there. Like, I'm sure emotions being a 14, 13-year-old kid or 15-year-old, however old I was. You don't handle things too well at that age. So, obviously I remember saying that, he ended my career. My career's over. I'm never going to play baseball again, all that stuff. Smashed a couple bats when I got home. But I think the next day, my dad was probably the biggest influencer in helping me stay motivated. He was a pretty big guy, a Navy guy. He got me in the gym the next day and showed me how to work out. And that really helped me, and kind of realized that, I still got a chance and I'm going to stick with it. And my parents were never the kind to, if I get cut, I'm going to leave schools, transfer some other place. They say, if you're going to, fail, you're going to stick with it and go at it, like, without any fear or any regret from what happened the last year. Like,
yeah, exactly. And like, you fail like a lot of the times. And like, that's how you make your most successes, when you fail. And just because you learn so much from when you fail, and then that helps you learn from your experiences and helps you be successful in the end.
Exactly right. And I feel like it's a big flaw in a lot of people these days that I'm fortunate enough to be able to learn at a young age.
Yeah, exactly. Because every time you give up a homer, like you did something wrong, or like you left it out too long, left like pulling right down the middle. Like there's always stuff to learn from any pitch that you throw.
Exactly right. Like in Columbia, gave up a home run. And then I think I gave up a run early this week against Augusta. But, the coaches still want to see me go out there and compete. And what was it, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday Pitt went out there and got 2 strikeouts, 1 inning, and that's it. Like it's all about how you bounce back as a pitcher. You can't let things affect you.
Yeah, there you go. So then you go into college baseball and you play at Yavapai College, Community College in the ACCAC. So like what went into picking that school and to play baseball there?
Just solely the fact that my best friend in high school is going there, and I went to go visit there, not even on a baseball visit, just to look at the campus, and I liked the area. And the coaches said that they would let me practice with the team. So that's about it. And that's, I wasn't any 5-star recruit or anything like that. So that's it. Yeah. And, come to think of it, 4 years later, I'm talking to the coaches, and the week of cuts, they told me that they were both going back and forth deciding on who was going to be the coach to cut me, because they liked me as a person, but they didn't like me as a pitcher. So in the end, they were glad they didn't have to cut me, and I was able to figure something out to continue my career.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, what was your experience like going from youth ball for travel to going to play college baseball at a community college, and how did that first season of college ball go?
I feel like it's a pretty good transition going from travel ball to high school to this. A lot of kids I see struggle in Little League going to high school in Arizona, because Arizona is very competitive for travel ball. It's kind of sucks a little bit, because maybe some kids that aren't as fortunate, that their parents might not be able to afford travel ball, might not get the opportunity. And that really sucks to me. I think that's not fair at all, but it is what it is. And, for me, I got lucky enough, when it wasn't $1,000 a month to play youth baseball, and I got to go from there, have good experience, learn how to play the game the right way to Chandler High, and then being able to overcome all that, then to Yavapai. And, Yavapai was my first full season learning how to pitch sidearm. I went through probably 3 different mechanics, trying to figure out how to throw pitches on my own, because nobody knew how to, specifically cater to the mechanics of a sidearm guy. And 75 innings, I think I probably had around a 3.5, 4 ERA, something like that. I'm not sure if you have those numbers, but yeah, I had a good season, didn't walk too many guys, had good control, and then went all the way, took our team, not single-handedly, but we had a lot of good pitchers, a lot of good draft guys, but I feel like I did help our team win a national championship that year in 2016.
Yeah, so like going up from travel ball to high school to college, like it's a transition for sure, and like you face a lot of ups and downs throughout, like especially after you come into a season, that's your first season. So like how did you like manage all those ups and downs that you face and overcome them?
That's just, the same way you develop mechanics is you develop routines, and the more like routines you have that are actually linked to how you pitch in the game, I feel like the more success you're going to have. And that's been a big thing I've noticed this year too, is, you hear a lot of guys that are very superstitious about baseball. They have to either tie their shoes the right certain way or wear the same socks. And that's been a big belief of mine this year that I'm kind of trying out, is to kind of abolish all the superstitions that don't directly affect how I pitch on the mound. And I feel like that's lowered my anxiety a lot and helped me be more calm too. So that's a big thing I found out to help me.
Yeah, that's huge. So then you go on to win a national championship that year. So like, what was that national championship run like, and just being able to celebrate after winning natties?
That was insane time. From going from Arizona, playing some great teams in Arizona. Arizona JUCOs are unreal in talent. And then going from there up north a little bit, playing our district rounds. I remember we kicked out a team that was their last team. It was their last season as a baseball team for that college. So, that was kind of, an honor, and to be able to defeat that team. I think it was Iowa Western, but I'm not sure. I forget the name. But then, going on to Grand Junction, that was my first experience at like a full crowd. I mean, playing in front of anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 fans. We played, I don't remember how many games, a week's worth of games. We won the first game, lost the second one, so immediately in the losers bracket. But we just weren't the team that was going to quit. We meshed so well together as a team. We all loved each other. We played together. We played the game the right way. We're just grinders in the most like raw form, and we were able to get it done. And JoJo, who I mentioned, ended up throwing 135 pitches against Sanjak, who's a team that's in the JUCO World Series every year, and ended up beating them. And now JoJo and the other pitcher for Sanjak are both big league pitchers today. So that just shows you the level of talent that there is in JUCO, and to never underestimate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, how important is the grind, especially from what you learned in college to like pro ball now? Like, how important is the grind, and like how it's going to teach you how to be successful in the future?
I mean, I've definitely seen guys who don't want to take it seriously, and I mean that's their own choice. If they want to prioritize other things outside of baseball. But if I feel like it's either the grind or nothing. Like if you're going to play baseball, you don't really have a choice but to grind it out. And long bus van rides in JUCO, not even buses, van rides from northern Arizona all the way down to the border of Mexico. Like if guys don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. So that's the big difference that I saw going up through all my levels, is that the higher up you went, the more the guys got serious about it.
Yeah, and you make a ton of fun memories from the grind, and just being able to just being involved in that process and just grinding everything out. Like everything's tough, but like once you like find that rhythm where it's like you just start making memories with all the boys, and just you enjoy the process.
Exactly right. Yeah, you get it.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you think going to play community college benefited you in your baseball career, and how it helped you move forward in your game?
So first of all, I would recommend community college to almost any high school baseball player that I would meet that was considering where to go, unless you're like 5-star, 100% certain that you're going to start at a Division I. JUCO in Arizona, wood bat league, competitive hitters. So that's probably closer to pro ball, in my opinion, than most Division I, II, IIIs than that you could think of. I mean, a lot of times kids go D1. It could be a mid-major school. It could be a huge school, but a lot of times I see them go to Division I and redshirt their first year, not play their second year, and then their first year is their junior year, or would have been junior year. And it's like, you could have just gone to a JUCO, started freshman year, started sophomore year, and transferred to a Florida or somewhere like that, or an LSU or Texas Tech or a big school like that. You'll get more looks. So.
Yeah, for sure. So then you transferred to a school and decided to play NCAA Division I college baseball at the University of Texas Arlington. So like, what was that transition like, going from community college and JUCO to NCAA D1 for baseball?
It was a little bit more nerve-wracking, bigger program, a lot more money. That was my first experience of like, this is getting kind of more real. Like people are actually getting serious about me. But the pitching coach at UT Arlington was actually the head coach at Central Arizona Community College. So we played against them. So they did a lot of recruiting in Arizona and brought a lot of Arizona guys to Texas. And that was the case when I was there both years. They still kept bringing in guys from my area, which helped out a lot. But it was a pretty smooth transition. I would say probably took 1 year to get used to it. Didn't have too good of a first year at UTA, and went to play in the Northwoods League and figured some stuff out. But yeah, it wasn't too bad of a transition at all.
Yeah. So like, what was your overall experience at UT Arlington, from like the baseball to like the school and college life, like everything? Like how was your experience there?
I mean, going from a school, a JUCO with 5,000 to a Division I that has 45,000 students, and playing teams like yeah, exactly. Playing teams like TCU, DBU, all these huge teams, Baylor, all these teams with first round draft picks. It can be a little intimidating, but I mean, to be honest, like, going to the Northwoods League was probably the biggest thing that benefited me. I was able to work on stuff my own and come back the next year and be very successful and get looked at by pro teams. But my overall experience at UTA was for sure a solid one. That was one of those things that school just kind of came in my head. I got offers from other schools too, but that was just the one that felt right. And I do think that still to this day, that was the right choice for me to make, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So like your first year at UT Arlington, you went 2-0 on the mound. So like, what are some of the lessons you learned that first year of Division I baseball that you didn't get to experience in JUCO?
Yeah, some of the lessons. I would say it's a little bit more of probably a business than it is in junior college. The coaches have a little bit more riding on it. You're probably a little bit more under pressure to perform. But that still doesn't mean that you shouldn't just be who you are as a pitcher, but you definitely feel a little bit more pressure. That's probably the biggest thing that I realized.
Yeah, for sure. So then your second year at Arlington, you were 2-3 playing about 36 games. Like, what are some of the things you learned from year one of Division I to year two, especially since you got more comfortable at the D1 level?
Yeah, it was just the confidence I gained going to the Northwoods League. I was able to simplify stuff, work on my own delivery, my mechanics, my pitches. And then I came back into that second year knowing that I would know how to pitch against these guys. And I feel like that did show my second year.
Yeah, for sure. So like what were some of your favorite memories from playing at UTA and just being around the guys and just playing Division I baseball?
I mean, I always love clinching playoff spots. That's always got to be one of my favorite moments. Yeah. It's always big parties, lots of music. Always travel with the guys at UTA. Being a pro athlete and in low A, we still only travel by buses. So back in UTA, traveling by planes was always fun. Going to the airports, just all that stuff. Just a lot of the off the field baseball stuff was fun, but it's really just all the on-field baseball memories, going to Coastal Carolina, playing the playoffs, all that stuff. Obviously breaking the season record for saves for UTA. That was a big moment for me personally. Everybody was very happy for me with that. So.
Yeah. And it's just, there's just something about like traveling with a team, like, especially in like any sport, like it's just a whole different experience and you're just having fun, having the time of your life with the boys. Yeah,
it is. It for sure is.
Yeah. So then in 2019, you were drafted in round 39 by the Tampa Bay Rays in the 2019 amateur entry draft. So like, what was the feeling like to get drafted to an MLB team and to be chosen by Tampa Bay, which is a really good organization?
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I have no doubt in my mind that they are the best organization for me that I could have gotten drafted by. But going into the draft, I was nominated for Stopper of the Year. I had All-American awards, All-Conference awards. I thought that I had a chance of going the first 2 days, and I had like 5 or 6 teams talk to me that season, which isn't a whole lot, but it's more than I got my junior year. So I was expecting to go. Didn't hear anything for all 3 days up until about the 30th round, and the Rays called me and told me that they were sorry they couldn't come out and watch me during the season, but they've been really interested. They said no promises, but would you sign to be a Tampa Bay Ray? And I said, yeah, of course. And then like 9 rounds later, 39th round, they called me, asked me again if I'd sign. I said, yeah, I'd do it. And then my name came up, and then that's the rest is history,
Yeah. Were you at home when this happened, or were you somewhere else?
Yeah, no, I was at home sitting on my couch. I was literally obsessed over the computer for 3 days straight, just watching every single pick roll through, waiting for my phone to ring. And then right as soon as I got drafted, my phone almost instantly died with the amount of notifications and texts that came through. Like it was just unreal. And my family was very happy for me and everything too. they knew that this is something that I've always wanted.
Yeah, for sure. And like just your phone's probably was buzzing until the last minute that it dies. That must
Yeah,
be an
exactly.
incredible feeling. Like you probably couldn't do anything on your phone at that point.
Yeah, never had that many people interested in my life more than that, just that one point in time. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that's the same with every draft guy that's been drafted. But
Yeah, absolutely. So like what was it like to finally put on that Tampa Bay Rays jersey when you put that jersey on?
I mean, that was for the first time. That was probably this season in spring training was the first time I actually put a jersey on with the Rays symbol. Because I went straight to Hudson Valley from Arizona. But this year when I was able to actually put it on, it gave me a sense of like realization that I am a Tampa Bay Ray pitcher, and that probably honestly helped me in confidence this year and being able to do what I'm doing. So
Yeah, so like what was spring training like this year and just being able to play in an MLB organization with that Rays logo on the front?
I mean, it was all new to me, even though it's my technically third year. Drafted in 2019, 2020 off. I mean, we had 2 weeks of spring training in 2020. So 2021 really supposed to be being my third year as my first spring training ever. So, going into it, not knowing what to expect, kind of like your freshman in college, like kind of following the older guys around, not knowing where to go. Then you learn the hang of it pretty quick and pretty simple. Then you get to play some games and some backfield games, stuff like that. Enjoy your time, go fishing with the guys, try to meet as many big leaguers as you can. Although we couldn't do that this year because they're in a different camp. But it's just been an honor to be able to wear that jersey. It's such a good organization for sure.
Yeah, that's unreal. So then also in 2019, you make your pro debut with the Hudson Valley Renegades. It's like, what was the process like to find your way to Hudson Valley? I know you said you went right to Hudson Valley after being drafted and getting some playing time with the Renegades after you went to Hudson Valley.
Yeah, well, the area scout knew that I was a senior sign, so I'm a little bit older of a guy. I'm not 18. I'm not going to go to the Gulf Coast League. I'm not going to be a rookie level player. So short season technically is rookie level still, but he called me when I was golfing and said that they're basically throwing me right into the fire. I'm 22 years old. They're going to put me up there against the guys that deserve to be there and see how I do. And I was on a flight to Florida like 2 days later, signed some papers, and then they sent me up to New York where I had to meet my host family, get all my uniform, figure out how that works all over again. So
Yeah, so you get thrown right in the fire, like you said. So, like, what kind of struggles did you face your first pro season? How did you better yourself from it?
I mean, I was pretty extremely nervous that the talent level was going to be way more than what I thought it was going to be in college. The first pro outing I had was in Vermont against the Oakland A's, and I remember warming up, nervous. I was very nervous, and then going in there, I think I got 1 or 2 strikeouts my first inning, and it was a quick inning. And after that outing, I realized that they drafted me for a reason. Like I'm supposed to be here, and they believe in me that I can throw strikes, get outs, and that just because I might not throw as hard as everybody else, that I still can perform if I do my job. So.
Yeah, so would you say like some of the biggest things you learned is that the team like draft you for a reason, they trust you, and just having that belief in yourself and just being able to just throw your game?
Exactly. I mean, we're all pro pitchers. We're all drafted. Nobody should be on a pedestal above anybody else. We're all here for a reason. We're all going to get our shots, and the Rays do a great job of that. No matter if you're a first overall guy or last overall, they're going to make sure you get equal shots, equal opportunities, and show you what you got. So.
Yeah, exactly. So take us through your first game and like the emotions throughout that game for you, and just being just realizing that you're at the pro level and you're there for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, most of it I just remember being nervous the whole time leading up to it, and that's almost about it. I mean, I remember going into it. I had trouble at the time locating right-handed on right-handed changeups. And I remember throwing a right-handed on right-handed changeup and getting a ground ball out as a result. And that was kind of one of the pitches that made me realize that, I have the ability to do this and compete at this level and give me some confidence to pitch well the rest of the year.
Yeah, for sure. So like, what was that first pro win on the mound like, and just being able to get that first win out of the way?
Oh, I mean, I being a relief pitcher, it's hard to tell for the first win. Maybe being a starter, I might be able to recall on that. But being a reliever, whether it's whenever you go in the game, you have no idea whether it's going to be a win, a hold, whatever it's going to be. So you just go in and do your job for as long as they need you to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. It's like, what was the next year, 2020 is when like everything happened with the pandemic and everything. So like, what was 2020 like for you, and just being able to train and work on your game and make yourself a better pitcher since the season was canceled that year?
I mean, I was able to sign with a great agency in PSI with my buddy Jojo Romero. I got to train with them in 2020 before the season, and then I went to spring training, and I was able to train in 2020 with them in Arizona at their facility, and 2021 before the season too. And I was just lucky to be able to have the resources that they allowed us to have. I mean, it's a great group of guys. We're able to train every day. We're able to have Rapsodo, TrackMan. We even extend to like Pilates classes and stuff like that. Like, it was just an amazing, group for me to be affiliated with, and I couldn't, ask for more than that.
And that's awesome. And just that you were able to still do stuff during the whole pandemic when everything was shut down, the season was canceled. So like, during when you did have spring training that year, like, what were the events leading up to everything getting shut down, like everyone not knowing what's going to happen next?
I mean, I remember just watching the news, seeing what was going on. We had I think a meeting about it. They said, we're going to obviously take, precautions for this. And then I think a couple days later, we had another meeting, a big group of guys all in one room. And they just basically said, y'all are going home, stay ready. You'll expect to come back like in a week or so. And then they just kept updating us. We all stayed ready, and just, the rest of it. The rest is how it turned out. So.
Yeah, exactly. So like, throughout that whole year, like, you have so much time to train and like get better, like you said. So like, what did you do to help better yourself and keep you motivated to train in such a hard year for everyone?
I mean, just, it was really, I didn't know when I was going to be back. So being in Arizona helped me. I was able to have resources where I could pitch against, single A, double A, triple A, even big league guys, just to stay ready. I stayed ready for a couple months in case we got the call saying we're going to be able to go back, or we're getting assigned to places straight out of our homes where we all were. But yeah, I was just, staying ready, working out, throwing live at bats, and until we heard the news. So.
Yeah, for sure. So Andrew, I have a few more questions for you before we wrap things up here. So do you have any tips for baseball players looking to get to that next level?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one that I think I already said was obviously trust your instincts in what you feel is the right choice for you. I've seen lots of my friends make choices based off of what they think, what their parents think is best for them. Obviously I'm not saying go against what your parents say. I'm saying, like, obviously, where you want to go. Like, if you have a feeling of what college you want to go to, I'd say that's probably the right choice then. And secondly, I would say don't discredit junior college baseball either. It's a great opportunity. And it's even better stepping stone to get to next levels, and the draft too as well.
Yeah, those are some great tips. So my next question for you is like, you're on TikTok, and you've been creating baseball content and uploading them to TikTok. So like, what drove that passion to start creating baseball content and just being a sidearm pitcher as well, like just showing everything and helping other people out?
Oh, I mean, that was just a big like quarantine boredom. I didn't know what TikTok really was, and I was like one of those guys at the beginning where I'm like, oh man, this is stupid. Like, I don't want to do this. And then, I started watching it and realized that there's a community of baseball players, and posted a video about my story, about how I got cut and all that stuff and overcame it. And people really liked that. So just from there on, from building off that video, kids would ask me, how do you throw your changeup? And I'd make a video off that. Or just like comments, requests, stuff like that. During the season, it's been hard to make videos, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's a passion, but I definitely do enjoy making those videos occasionally.
For sure. And just like the content creators and just like the community, like it brings everyone together.
That is true. Like people that you would never meet, like me and you, like people that you would never come in contact to. Every person that DMs me on Instagram with a legitimate baseball question, that is asking for help, I take seriously. I try to respond to as many people as I can, whether it's, mechanics, whether they send me a video and I can look at it, or whether they're having trouble with mentality on the mound or anything. I'm always more than happy to open DMs and look and see if anybody is seriously asking me a question regarding their baseball career, and I'll always help. So
yeah, absolutely. And just I also play baseball, and we may have to do a little collab on TikTok and just do like a little challenge from like from wherever we are, and just we'll figure something out.
For sure. Whatever ideas you have, I'm always running out of ideas. So I have no ideas for any videos unless it's your basic grip videos or pitching videos of me pitching games. So
yeah, for sure. So my final question for you is, like, you're known as a sidearm pitcher, obviously. And so like, was it like, how do you throw like different pitches? Like, is it all like with the same motion, or do you just, is it just like the same motion as just an overhand throw? You're just going sidearm, or like how does sidearm pitching work?
I mean, different grips require different feels. Based off of if I'm throwing a sinker or a four seam, I feel different parts of the laces. Whether I try to pronate over the top of the baseball, like when I throw a changeup, or whether I try to stay through it, like on a fastball. My wrist angle changes, but other than that, my release point on TrackMan is all in the same circle. So, I'm not giving away any pitches by changing my release height, my release angle. They're all coming out of the same spot for the tunneling effect. But yeah, little things like pronation and grips definitely do matter.
Yeah, that's really cool for sure. And I really like that. So, Andrew, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time. I want to wish you the best of luck with the rest of the season. And I look forward to following your career the rest of the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem.